Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to my review of RiffTrax, A Crime of Passion, my first ever review of a feature film riffed by our lovely ladies, Bridget and Mary Jo. This movie is based off of a short story written by Mary Higgens Clark. Clark wrote a total of 51 novels in her lifetime, with the majority being murder mysteries, and every single one of those 51 books has been a bestseller. Talk about an illustrious career. Several of her popular penned works have been transformed into the medium of made-for-television film. Bridget and MJ have riffed 5 of them. Yes, 5 movies, all with plots originally penned by Clark, with 4 of them being supposedly suspenseful thrillers with plenty of murder and games afoot. So let's take out our magnifying glasses and get ready to crack the case with my review of RiffTrax, A Crime of Passion. We open our movie at every suburban white mom's favorite summer vacation spot, a winery. Dumais Winery to be exact, which is in the middle of a big soiree celebrating their recent success. The party is being hosted by Dumais' owners, Freddie Dumais, our protagonist who's inherited the winery as her father started it, as well as her father's old business partner, Thomas Shipman. The two owners and their respective spouses are mingling with the alcoholic elites when drama immediately unfolds. A vaguely foreign woman named Arabella, a totally real and not made up name, comes up and flirts with Thomas, a man at least 2.5 decades her senior, and he is clearly into it.
I'm Chris Hansen.
And based on his wife Connie's reaction, it's definitely not the first time he's done something like this. Connie insists they leave, and Thomas dismisses her as she goes to drink her pain away on the balcony outside, when suddenly she's thrown overboard. Freddie finds her introvert husband Alan outside, and things between them start to heat up, until they hear a piercing scream from the shipman's maid Lillian. They find Connie's body having plummeted into the decorative water feature below, thus getting our murder mystery started.
I would commit a crime of passion if that's the weather I got on my trip to wine country.
Do you think there will be a murder?
One of us is bound to snap.
I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. They built an empire that nobody could have possibly imagined. One box of wine at a time.
Wait, is that bad?
We would like to propose a toast
To wine moms everywhere.
to the Dumais.
This looks like the kind of party you leave so you can go get a drink.
Come on, let's get a picture.
Totally.
Very impressive, Thomas. Now you can retire, a wealthy man with a secure place in viticulture history.
Yes, that is how I speak to other humans.
It's not my name on the bottle.
I just wanted to tell you how much I
Uh-oh.
love your wine. The body.
And you are?
Oh, I'm sorry, Arabella Stone.
But everyone calls me
Very
femme
pleased to
fatale.
meet
You too.
It's kind of like the Mick Jagger of fermentation, isn't it?
That song never really caught on like the other
I'm
one.
used to it by now. I have a headache. I feel dizzy.
Well, I'm sure Freddie could dig you up an aspirin. Why don't you find yourself a nice...
Set of fake boot. Oh, wait.
I want to find a quiet.
I don't even want this stupid gift with purchase wine glass. This is a full wood dive with a 1.2 degree of difficulty.
It's about time you showed up.
DoorDash has upped its game.
Crowds, you know that. Lillian, what is it?
A spider!
Constance.
Oh my God. You squished my koi.
The next morning, Freddie and Alan are being interrogated by Detective Calloway, who implies Connie's death could have been the result of a marital dispute, which Freddie can't even consider a possibility. At the funeral, despite just meeting Thomas like a week ago, the temptress Arabella is present and leaves a rose on the casket of the woman whose husband she's literally seducing. Suspicious and gross all at the same time. And Freddie agrees with me, but regardless of her disgust at Arabella's behavior, Alan reminds her and exposits to us that the Shipman's marriage was dead long before Connie was. That night, a definitely drunk Thomas finds Arabella in his hot tub, and instead of asking how she got into his house in a bikini, he lets her convince him to give her a job with her feminine wiles. A fine move that I'm sure won't cause any tension in the company whatsoever.
Right.
Freddie's not happy with the decision, but waits to badmouth the seductress until she gets back home, where she and Alan, who thinks Freddie's too nervous about it all, decide to hold a dinner party to get to know Arabella face to face, and it all goes about as well as could be expected. After some exposition of Arabella obviously lying about her past, and how Freddie and Alan had a whirlwind romance and have been married only 10 months, Arabella lets the mask slip to threaten Freddie for trying to meddle with her and Thomas's relationship.
You mentioned Mrs. Shipman wasn't feeling so well and wanted to go early.
That's right.
Any idea what stopped her?
A 10-foot fall into a fountain?
In this winery. I guess that he, didn't feel comfortable leaving his guests that early.
Did they have a fight?
They had a pretty epic food fight. Does that count? Roses are so cliche. I should have brought a cinnamon roll or something.
It's so awful. I mean, why would anyone want to kill Mrs. Shipman?
The police haven't determined it was murder.
And Columbo won't return my calls.
She didn't even know Constance.
I double-checked my list of Constance
She was
knowers.
just here to pay her respects.
Thomas was like a father to me. I don't want to see someone take advantage of him when he's feeling vulnerable.
At any other time, I'd be encouraging it.
I can't believe you said that.
Come on, sweetheart. We both know their marriage was nothing more than a habit. The passion was dead a long time ago.
Glass of wine, a darkened house, no one else in sight. Here's a dude who knows how to party.
Such a risque Yankee Candle ad.
You told me there's always an opening for someone with passion to learn.
You are the manager of the local Costco, aren't you? These guys also got their jobs by showing up in the boss's jacuzzi after dark.
So you hired an assistant?
Yeah. She's incredible. She studied viticulture in France. I've never met a woman that wanted to talk grapes as much as I do.
Most women just want to talk about
That's
papayas.
great, Tom. What's her name?
Arabella.
She shows up looking like something out of a Victoria's Secret catalog. And she can't stop talking about grapes?
Maybe she's promoting Victoria's Secret new grape lovers collection.
She's after his money, Alan.
Why don't you give a dinner party for him? I'm sure he would love to show her off a little.
It's a terrific idea.
We've got 20 boxes of Kraft macaroni about to expire.
Arabella, Thomas tells me that you studied viticulture in France.
It's not very exciting.
So it's a lot like this movie.
In Aix-en-Provence. I'd love to hear your story and how you made out in France.
You'll have to tell us in words. We don't have the budget for a flashback.
I remember the moment I first laid eyes on Freddie.
Freddie Prinze?
It was as if everything stopped. The music, the talking, my heart. I knew she was the woman I was to marry before I ever heard her speak.
Oh, how romantic is that?
I give it
To
2
this
candy
day,
hearts
I
out
can't
of
drink a
5.
Bordeaux without falling to one knee.
Here's to a long and happy marriage.
I only hope it can be as strong as the marriage that Thomas and Constance had.
Minus the violent death part.
Thank you for being so gracious.
Now back off before you get hurt.
Are you threatening me?
Absolutely.
I hope this doesn't interfere with our Tuesday brunch date.
Freddie vents again to her level-headed husband, who doesn't seem to want her to go too far off the deep end into Thomas's problems. He's rich, and if he wants a mistress, whatever. But Freddie doesn't want to see her old friend hurt, so she goes to another old friend, Dale, a computer whiz, to get the dirt on Arabella to see if there's any gold digging in her past. And it's instantly apparent that Dale is in love with Freddie, and both jealous and distrustful of Alan. Freddie almost bails, but Dale promises he'll look into it, not letting his pettiness get in the way. Meanwhile, Alan finds Arabella in the office, and Thomas has already given her access to all the company's files. I mean, come on! He slept with her for like 2 weeks after his wife's mysterious death. That's just the logical thing to do. Dale calls Freddie up with all the news about Arabella, or Jackie Rust, as she's actually called. She's a career gold digger who works with a partner to seduce old rich fogies and then clean them out. And we see just that as Arabella goes to a cabin in the woods and tells the Clyde to her Bonnie that Freddie's gonna be a problem. And this scene is totally just here to introduce this guy, as nothing really happens. Freddie tries to tell Thomas the truth, but he won't hear it and their relationship splinters. Cause who are you gonna believe? The woman you've watched grow up her whole life? Or the vaguely European femme fatale you met the night your wife tumbled off a balcony into a fish pond?
She's got him so lost in her eyes, he doesn't even feel her hands digging for his wallet.
Scrooge McDuck's ex-wife was the same way.
Too much out of this.
What happens to Thomas when his little fantasy turns into a major nightmare? You know, she dumps him for a bigger payday.
Rated PG for excessive ear fondling. Clippy's wish to be a real boy finally came true.
I need the help of the Michelangelo of the internet.
Please paint the creation of Adam on my modem.
Don't mind the mess.
I want to see what you can find out about this woman. Arabella Stone.
Well, I can tell you right now, she's hot. And European.
But she comes with subtitles.
What does she do?
It's what she's about to do. She's setting herself up to make a play for my partner's money. Alan seems to think that there's nothing to it.
He would know.
What does that mean?
He's kind of a quick stop Harry Hamlin.
And comes back with a husband.
Dale,
You tell me.
This was a bad idea.
Give me a couple of days.
I'm still on dial-up.
Barbara Streisand, computer hacker.
Cabernet review is out. I see he is giving you his access codes.
Mm-hmm. All night long.
Kent.
Why don't we put our cards on the table?
All right.
I like Hallmark.
You deal.
Thomas deserves to be happy.
As we all do.
I can think of some exceptions.
How can a woman with such good instincts about people be so blinded by love?
Is this a Match.com cold call?
Arabella Stone is the name that she's used for the past year. Her real name is Jackie Russ.
She's a fungal disease of plants.
Born in Germany.
I knew it. She's a fraud.
A little too close to home, Bridget?
Convicted only once.
Hey.
Smart woman. She usually works with a partner. And I got a buddy of mine still digging. I'll let you know what he comes up with.
Thanks, Dale. You're the best.
I.e., I like you as a
You
friend.
truly believe that?
Frederica de May is going to be a problem.
Her ludicrous name competes with my ludicrous name.
I can handle it. Relax.
Everything's fine in your Virgin River cabin.
I don't care about her past.
How can you say that? Thomas, you're a man of science. You've built your whole life around decisions based on facts.
What do you know about my life?
You need to fire your agent.
When your father and I started this winery 35 years ago, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. We sacrificed everything to build this business, including our personal life.
Which also involved rubbing together.
And now that you're old enough, you assume all Arabella's after is my money.
Arabella's not even her real name.
You don't say.
Thomas.
Get out of my house.
Thomas.
No, get out of my house now.
I'll just put the Mogan David back in the wine rack.
In the empty winery casket room, I don't know winery production terminology, a stack of for sure full of products not empty, trust me, boxes tumble, nearly killing Freddie. And at this point, not thinking that something is up is just dumb. Alan helps her but says it probably wasn't an attack. But dude, what are the odds of your wife nearly being killed days after her business partner's wife was successfully killed? In the morning, Freddie tells Thomas he should retire as she won't tolerate Arabella being at her father's winery. But Thomas storms off saying he'll buy her out. Freddie then does something really stupid and lets Arabella know that she knows her true identity. Never let them know your next move, Freddie. Alan goes off to speak to Lillian without Freddie's knowledge, and basically says without saying it that he wants her to spy on Thomas, as he's clearly making boneheaded decisions post Connie's death. Lillian agrees, having felt uncomfortable with having Arabella around anyway. Arabella tries cutting things off with her partner Barker, and says she'll get him twice the money, but she can't keep this up as now Thomas wants to marry her. And the shifty man living in a cabin in the woods doesn't take rejection well. Go figure. Speaking of which, Dale finds out all he can about Barker and has a contact ready to give him and Freddie more details about where to find him. And again, Dale tries to meddle in her marriage, and again, she shuts him down. The friend zone is a prison, and Dale is inmate number 1.
Intruder ASMR is the best ASMR.
How many empty boxes does it take to kill someone? Just curious.
Ready?
Please don't kill me trying to save me.
There is no way they could have fallen like that by themselves. Somebody pushed them.
I don't think so, Freddie. I would have seen someone leave if they were in there.
Well, with all that distraction, they could have gotten out.
Honey, let's not fight
saying?
about attempted
Someone's trying to
murder.
hurt you?
I think you have a problem with Arabella.
That's right. I'm not comfortable allowing an employee that I don't know complete access to our files.
Excuse me.
Robert Stack!
And I'm not comfortable with you questioning my decisions.
I think we need to have a talk about a financial settlement that will allow you to retire with the recognition that you deserve.
Little to none.
How dare you?
I'm on to you, Jackie Rust.
Ooh, Jackie Rust. Live your life from
If he
inside.
wants to buy you, I can't do a thing about it. But you're not getting a dime from this winery. We'll see.
Strong comeback.
Mr. Leach,
Alan, please.
Mr. Shipman isn't here. He's at the winery.
I know. Actually, I was hoping I could speak with you, Lillian.
Oh, sure.
Freddie and I are concerned about Mr.
They're
Ship.
not going inside?
In particular, his ability to make rash.
I'm not sure I understand what you want me to do.
Now, hold on there. Nobody even mentioned the word poison.
I want out.
Of this stupid movie.
No.
He loves me. He wants to marry me.
And give me hats.
What you gonna do? Kill the whole deal because of your pride?
Oh, baby, I killed a lot more than that because of my pride.
Ever wonder what happened to the Teletubbies? Go look in the freezer.
His name's Alfred Barker. He's your basic, run-of-the-mill, ultra-violent sociopath. He worked with your girl on scams the past few years.
No, thanks. You think he's capable of murder?
A notorious sociopath?
Right. Understand
I don't
he's
think
capable of
so.
anything. By the way, Drips knows an old associate of Alan's. He brought it up, not me. Your marriage wasn't a secret, you know.
Dale, we've talked about this. I don't want you looking into Alan's past. I trust him with my life.
All right. I'll leave it alone.
But Alan's many dead wives all say hello.
Lillian turns out to be the worst spy ever and creepily eyes Arabella while she files some stuff. While the conniving Jackie fake name Rust isn't having any of that and demands Thomas fire her, which she adamantly refuses. And I will say, Arabella's frustration kind of makes sense, since Thomas has blindly done anything she's asked until now. The fight escalates until Arabella says it's no wonder his wife offed herself, and Thomas responds by smacking her in the face. She makes another biting remark and storms off, but in an actually pretty decent twist, she gets shot on her way to her car. Yup, and just like that, the biggest suspect for the murder is gone in a flash. And with the wife and mistress both killed in just a couple of weeks, Thomas is rightfully taken into police custody. He won't talk or get a lawyer, and Freddie is sent spiraling. Despite the recent fight, she still doesn't believe Thomas could commit murder, but the autopsy report confirms his wife didn't stumble on her own, but was pushed, and with his lover shot in cold blood, it's not looking so good for him. Freddie thinks it must be one of the people who Arabella screwed over who killed her, and it turns out she hadn't told Alan about any of her findings since he doesn't like Dale. Because hiding secret internet research rendezvous from your husband during a murder investigation isn't weird at all. She accuses Alan of hiding stuff from her, but he says he's just been studying Thomas's old work to take over and help her run the place one day, as he really doesn't know much about the wine industry. And even though they both apologize, Freddie seems to be a little dubious.
Are you spying on me?
No, I just saw the light.
Hallelujah! Thanks for understanding me, Booze.
Fire!
Never yell fire in a crowded pool.
Be too long.
To think she beat out Kevin James for this role.
Now listen to this. I'm not interested in sleeping with someone who could be my father.
Yeah, well, who are you interested in sleeping with?
How much time do you have?
A real man.
How can you say that to me?
Because you act like a pathetic drunk who enjoys fondling his grapes more than his woman.
No wonder your wife killed herself.
Oh, really, movie? Mary Higgens Clark, After Dark.
Not sexy, but it rhymes.
Thank you. She's been shot, and it's really cold out.
What the hell is going on here?
Mr. Shipman's being arrested under suspicion of murder.
What? Thomas Thomas, where's your attorney?
I didn't want one.
They're
You
dumb.
didn't want one.
Go home, Freddie.
Mr. May, he was already under investigation for the murder of his wife.
And for leaving the seat
The
up.
autopsy report shows she died of a broken neck. There were not enough drugs or alcohol in her system to warrant falling off that bridge. She was pushed. It doesn't take a law professor to find a motive.
They need a mystery novelist, English teacher, amateur detective, criminology professor, congresswoman.
The police said she was shot.
Must have been one of her old scam victims. Tracked her down and killed her.
What are you talking about?
I asked Dale to see what he could dig up on her.
Turns out she's a Nigerian prince.
Because I know how you feel about Dale, and I didn't want it to turn into a thing.
So you had to deceive me?
No, Alan, it wasn't anything like that.
It was way more boring.
I have been doing my homework, studying Thomas's journal to earn my keep when he retires. The truth is, I am a bit of a fraud. What I really know about wine, you could fit in a glass. I'm sorry.
But that was the only analogy I could come up with.
I'm sorry, too.
Freddie visits Thomas in the hoosegow, and not only does he admit that Freddie was totally right about everything, but that he was a serial cheater. Freddie seems surprised when even her husband of less than a year could tell. He even says that he and her father made enemies and to be wary if she keeps sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. Look, I'm no wine expert, I don't even drink, but how many enemies can one make heading to the top of the wine industry? Alan goes to the Shipman house, and Lillian tells him she's terrified to stay there alone while Thomas is locked up. So Alan offers to hire and house her until everything is settled. Alan comes home to find Dale and Freddie discussing Dale's shady contact, and how he refuses to talk unless Freddie comes in person. Alan calls Dale out for his jealousy, and while he's a bit rude about it, I honestly think he should. Dale literally tries to convince Freddie to break up her marriage like every other sentence. Freddie follows Dale out, and he reveals that Alan was married to a wealthy widow who died in a mysterious boating accident not too long after the wedding. Because of course he was.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
She confronts Alan, and he admits it all right away. Alan says it was wrong of him to do, but he did it out of mourning and trying to move on. Freddie implies Alan married and murdered his dead wife for her fortune, and he gets pissed off, as I assume most people being accused of murdering their spouse would be, and Freddie stomps upstairs to bed.
How you holding up?
I'm having wine and boob withdrawal.
I know I hit her. I know I was drunk.
And I was in the middle of ordering something on Amazon.
I was so angry I wanted to kill her.
You gotta stop talking like that.
Mostly stop being like
Our
that.
attorney, he'll be here today.
It was good at the start, but to be honest, at the end, I wanted out.
I think the piano plinking is the glue of this movie.
I heard Connie. Arabella wasn't the first.
There was a little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita is all I need, a little bit of Tina is what I see, a little bit of Sandra and the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man.
I promise.
Your father and I made some enemies on the way to the top. This might be our past catching up to us.
Tyrion Lannister is especially peeved.
How long will the police keep Mr. Shipman?
If they charge him with 2 murders, they won't let him out until after the trial.
Well, what am I gonna do?
Just keep swiffering.
I could never leave Mr. Shipman, but now I'm too scared to stay here.
Why don't you come work for us?
I see a
Until
messy
Thomas is
custody
free to
battle in the making.
Barker had been living downtown in a one-room apartment on East Proctor. Not a very nice area.
I know where that is.
So Johnny Drips knows this guy.
Did she hire him as
Says
the
Barker
maid?
moved up to a
This is
cabin in
gonna
the
get
mountains
wacky.
because he had to lay low for a while. And there's just one catch. He wants to tell you in person.
Why?
He didn't say.
Maybe this guy wants to get her alone. Like Constance and Arabella.
That's right, I've been listening from the mudroom.
Set you up. You have the look of a jealous man. If Freddie lost the winery, it might knock her down a peg. Maybe even into your class.
You son of a...
Okay, now you're insulting Radio Shack as a whole, and I won't have it.
Dale, you better go.
He's got a right to say what he wants.
Just concerned about me, that's all.
I'm sure he is. I'm curious, Freddie, was he concerned enough to tell you he was married before? I didn't think so. 3 years ago to a wealthy widow. Didn't last long, though, about a year. She died in a mysterious boating accident in the south of France. My guess is he met you about the time he ran out of money. Be careful, Freddie.
Forgive me? All right. I'll try again later.
I have a feeling he has to say that a lot.
Were you married before me?
That's quite a friend you have there.
This isn't about Dale. Were you married before you met me?
What a nag!
Yes, I was. It has nothing to do with us.
It has everything to do with us.
We could have 2 sets of china.
How could you lie to me?
They found her a day later.
Was she wealthy?
Did she wear a top hat and monocle?
I'm not sure I understand your question, Freddie. Are you asking me if I married her for her money or killed her for it?
I don't deserve that.
And I deserve to be interrogated?
You lied to me.
You said you hated boozy boat trips.
You married and...
I'm sure you have little things in your past you'd rather keep to yourself.
Oh, you sound just like my 3 dead husbands.
The next morning, after a brief continuation of the fight, Freddie goes with Dale with $200 to pay off their shifty lead on Arabella's old partner. The guy toys with them for a minute when Freddie decides to bluff that she'll leave, and he caves, telling them exactly where to find Barker in the woods. And in spite of all known logic and reason, Freddie refuses to let Dale go with her. Yet another very awful decision made by a lady who must have not grown up watching or reading any mysteries at all. She finds Barker holed up and threatens to use everything at her disposal to weed him out. But Barker insists that he and Arabella had nothing to do with Connie's death, and that she should take a closer look at those around her to find the true killer. She starts off to her car when someone she never sees but presumes is Barker chases her in the dark until she tumbles and breaks her ankle. Thankfully, Dale is smarter than Freddie and followed her to be sure she was safe, and he's able to take her to the hospital.
Of all the TV movie husbands, he's the TV moviest of them all.
The Dumais broad, the one who owns all that wine.
Yes, I am.
Not bad. So how's it feel to be filthy rich?
Hey, look, we're paying for an address here, not conversation.
Yeah, well, I want to know what kind of people I'm doing business
Feels
with.
good.
You got a problem?
To be filthy rich.
That's Jeff Bezos' catchphrase.
Yeah, I'll bet it does. So you want to find Barker, huh? He's a bad man.
I believe you wanted $200.
He's planning to buy 800
Small
McNuggets.
price to pay for something you want so bad.
We're out of here.
The Twin Pines. 324 North Weatherly. Cozy little cottage.
Makes the little house on the prairie look like a heap of garbage.
That's a good address.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
I promised Thomas that I'd get to the truth of this. And right now, that's Barker. What's he gonna do, kill me?
Well, fine, I'll go with you.
Please, Dale.
Your concern for my safety is a huge turnoff.
If you don't hear from me in a couple hours, send in the Marines.
What? The Marines have no jurisdiction in this matter. She knows nothing about U.S. military law.
So by cozy little cottage, he meant gritty Unabomber shack.
Alfred Barker.
If you say so.
The lack of beer stains on that shirt is the most unrealistic thing in this movie.
You know who I am. I think you and your partner, Arabella, killed Constance to get at Shipman's money.
And his
And when
Hummel
she dumped
collection.
You killed Arabella.
That's a hell of a theory, Freddie. But it's wrong. I didn't kill anybody. Not this month.
The last time was on Black Friday. I really wanted that toaster.
I will use all of my money and my resources to make sure that you pay for what you did to Constance.
Say goodbye to your idyllic lifestyle.
I found you hiding up here.
Tag, you're it.
What's the matter with you?
He tried to kill me.
Why would the criminal I threatened do that?
Oh, we gotta get you to a hospital.
Alan, who may be a liar, but at least wants his wife to be safe, is concerned about everything she's done in the last 24 hours, and she tries to shrug it off like it's all fine. Freddie goes to Detective Calloway to let her know all the info she's dug up on Barker and demands that Calloway arrest him straight away. Calloway isn't as biased as Freddie, and is insistent that Thomas is still a better suspect, but she says she'll look into it to give her some peace of mind. Alan, meanwhile, confronts Dale and tells him to back off from his wife, and both men insist they're onto each other. Dale narcs on Alan, and Freddie fights with him in the winery. Alan thinks Dale might have been at fault, killing the murder victims so Freddie inherits everything, and framing him so Dale can scoop her up and live happily ever after with riches. And Freddie thinks maybe Alan has been the murderer, so he'll inherit all her money once he gets to her next. Man, these two need counseling. That night, Freddie hears something go bump in the night, and it was in fact Barker, and since they were already tailing him, the cops arrest him before he can do any harm. However, he said he was only there to rob her, and Detective Calloway believes him given his previous record, and says that Thomas is still the prime suspect, much to Freddie's chagrin. But Freddie has zero evidence proving that a con man is the murderer, versus like a million reasons why Thomas totally wanted both dead women out of the way. So what's Calloway supposed to do?
Freddie, please. You leave here to see Dale, come back the next morning on crutches. I deserve more than sarcasm.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Your Highness.
I went to see Barker.
Excuse me, is there anything I can do?
Lillian, what are you doing here?
Being a plot point.
I'll get you some ice for this. Okay.
I'm not a murderer, by the way.
She's been having a tough time of it. I'm sure it feels good to be needed again.
Or she needs a paycheck.
I went up there to talk to him about his involvement with Arabella Stone, a.k.a. Jackie Russ.
It's from driving her through Minnesota winters.
Lucky enough to get out of there just with this.
Sounds like Barker. Ms. DeMay, I know that Thomas Shipman is a longtime friend, but without any motive or concrete evidence, I'd be wasting my time chasing after somebody like Barker.
Detective.
Can you look at my foot and tell me if you think it's infected?
You decide who Freddie talks to now, do you?
With regards to you, yes, I do.
This is a conversation you should be having with your wife, not me.
No.
Bad
This
dog.
is between you and me.
Now get the hell out of here.
I'm on to you.
You're Carl, right? And this is Fantasy Gifts?
You're not supposed to be on your feet, Freddie.
Wine doesn't make itself.
Why don't you go lie down? I can handle it from down here.
How are you going to do that when you're so busy threatening my friends?
The Better Business Bureau needs to know about him.
As soon as you left. He's the one that saved me.
Was he? Huh. It seems to me it was quite a coincidence. He just happened to show up in the nick of time. And what about Barker? Why didn't he just kill you when you were inside his cabin?
He forgot, okay?
Identify him. It was dark outside.
Dead women don't talk, Freddie. If he wanted to kill you, he would have done it when he had the chance.
Oh, you always regret the thing you didn't do, right?
Are you saying that Dale tried to kill me?
You think I followed you up there and tried to kill you?
I don't know what to think anymore.
I'm telling Mom!
Well, this is one way to cut down on production costs.
Alan?
Steve? Cindy? Debbie? Gary? Laverne? Bill? Darla? Natalie? Dave? Brian? Lori?
Yeah, I'm fine. How did you get here so fast? I just called 911.
It was Barker. We put a tail on him as soon as we confirmed he was working with Arabella Stone. He didn't waste any time making his move.
Did he bust us?
It's late. Why don't you come down to... He said he cased your place last week during the reception, posing as one of the waiters.
An actor posing as a robber,
he was
posing as a
there.
waiter.
He could have killed Constance.
It's hard to blackmail a single man for sexual indiscretion.
What if his partner killed her, didn't tell him, and then when he found out, he killed her?
You want my job, don't you?
He's lying. He tried to kill me at his cabin.
Sure, but he didn't. No harm, no foul.
He said you...
Freddie finds Alan packing some things so he can spend some time away after all the distrust and fighting. Who would have thought hiding the fact that you're the widower of a rich lady who died under mysterious circumstances could be so bad for your marriage? But he still loves Freddie, and even though she literally implied she thinks he's a murderer, he tells Lillian to keep her safe and to call him if they need anything. Alan visits Thomas and tells him that if he's convicted, he won't even get bail because he has enough money to flee the country. He goes on to fill him in on the fact that Freddie's gone so far as to even get assaulted to prove Thomas's innocence. And under no prompting, Thomas admits to having an affair with Lillian a few years back. Dude, no wonder he just let the cops take him in. He had every reason in the world to want to get rid of his wife. Thomas tells Alan he's free to stay at his place while he works on his marriage, and Alan's real name must be Encyclopedia Brown, as he instantly finds a clue. In a picture of the Shipmans, he notices he's seen Connie's necklace before around Lillian's neck. Back at the house, Lillian gives Freddie a nice cup of pills all ready to take, so no need to look at those nasty bottles with labels proving what they are. Freddie shoots them back without a second thought, and now we've got a third act ticking clock on our hands. And what's worse, not only has Freddie never seen one of these movies, but Alan hasn't either. As soon as he finds the locket with a gun next to it, he calls the house, and the second it's picked up, he babbles out that Freddie needs to escape as Lillian is the killer. But of course, Freddie isn't the one who picked up the phone, but the very housemaid of murder herself.
I hope they have that horrible man put away. Yeah, police tell me by the time his lawyers get done, he'll get 5 to 10 weeks.
Take that, justice
My
system.
ankle's killing me. I'm gonna go lie. I don't understand.
I think you do, Freddie. You've made it quite clear that you're not comfortable being around me.
Not in that
Saving
shirt.
Our marriage, I think I'm gonna move out until you are.
I never said I wasn't comfortable.
Actually, you said much worse.
All of it accurate.
Keep an eye on her, Lillian. If you need anything, I'll be staying at the Shipmans.
Oh, I wish there was something I could do to help.
Just you being here with her is a tremendous help.
At least until you turn out to be the murderer.
Looks like the judge is not going to let you out on bail. 2 homicides, and with your resources,
Resources?
you're too big of a risk to run.
I was so foolish to think a woman like that would want anything but my money. I should have known better.
I mean, I should have acted better.
I wouldn't want Freddie to know this, but
Lillian's the murderer.
I had an affair with Lillian. Well, it started about 3 years ago. I'm not sure how it happened, but
Sex may have been involved.
Connie.
Dale found out that I was married before and made a point of telling Freddie. I should have told her, but I never did. He convinced her that I'm dishonest.
Just because I lied to her big time.
Doubts him.
What the? That's my plaid shirt.
Well, I would never leave Mr. Shipman, but I'm too scared to stay here now.
Why don't you come work for us? Just until Thomas is free to come. We could use the help.
His flashback is in close-up?
What's all this?
Doctor's orders anti-inflammatories for your ankle, calcium and iron supplements, 2 to help the pain, and something to help you sleep.
What do you say we just trade it in for a bottle of red? It'll do exactly the same thing, I promise.
I haven't put the pills in the red yet.
Didn't think so.
Side effects may include shortness of life, dry corpse, and difficulty in existing. Stop taking if your lifespan does not exceed 17 seconds. Ask your pharmacist if cyanide is right for you. Maybe Higgens Clark hit all the logic in here.
This changes everything. Or maybe nothing. I'm not sure.
Get out of the house, Freddie. It's Lillian.
I'm sorry. Mrs. Leach is unable to come to the phone right now.
And might I add...
Freddie starts feeling weird, maybe thanks to the unmarked pills she sucked down indiscriminately, and she starts downstairs looking for Lillian. And instead of simply putting Freddie back to bed with a bowl of soup and a cold compress to maintain her plausible deniability, Lillian, who also must have never seen one of these movies, lets Freddie know she's gonna kill her and why. She's developed an absolute obsession over Thomas, who not only had an affair with her, but told her he loved her and that they should be together, not him and his wife. And while murder might not have been on the table at first, the night of the party, Connie told her she knew all about the affair and to be out of the house first thing in the morning. So Lillian went in for a railing kill and pushed her. Freddie can't keep her mouth shut and tells the knife-wielding psycho that Thomas never loved her, and off to the races we go. On her broken ankle, Freddie hops into the winery. And guys, fun fact about me, about 5 years ago, I broke my effing femur, and guess what? I didn't realize it was broken and walked on it for 2 weeks. Here's the real pics of the metal I had to get in surgery. Granted, my mobility got worse and worse over those 2 weeks, but with the adrenaline of fighting for your life, you could absolutely run in that ankle boot. Not saying you won't re-injure yourself, but hey, you may stay alive a bit longer. And Lillian can't stop monologuing, admitting to trying to kill Freddie with the boxes and offing Arabella after the fight she and Thomas had, saying that she did it for him. How romantic.
Oh, Wordle has that effect on me, too.
Lillian? I think I need something to eat.
Can you make me a bowl of soup where the croutons don't look like Ambien?
She could totally afford a knee scooter. She's just being a martyr.
Lillian?
And the twist is going to be she's actually preparing her a delicious sandwich.
But you don't make it easy, do you? You couldn't just stay in bed and wait until the pills did the work for me.
They make a pill that does housework for you? Why am I just hearing about this?
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna kill you, Mrs. Leach.
And yet she won't do windows.
Are you surprised? But you don't know what it's like to sacrifice, to go to bed night after night alone, while the man you love is sleeping with another woman. His wife! No! His mistake.
6 of 1.
He didn't love her.
How could you kill Constance? She brought you into that house.
But she left me no choice.
This is the worst housekeeper-related betrayal since Mrs. Doubtfire.
I'll expect your resignation in the morning, as well as whatever discretion you're capable of.
You know, you can just fire her right now. She's not a cabinet secretary.
She was fond of her tranquil.
I'm leaving a mixed review with your agency!
It was liberating. Thomas loved his wife.
It's like a Benny Hill routine scripted by Robert Bloch. Say what you want. Nobody writes a hop chase like Mary Higgens Clark.
Did I mention I've been washing darks with whites?
Oh, the evil!
This room looks familiar, doesn't it, Mrs. Leach?
Well, sure, I'm in here often as part of my job, and I see you're being sinister again.
Okay. You had that unfortunate accident with the falling boxes.
Did she exposit like this for all her victims? It's so inefficient.
I heard them fight that night.
How can you say that to me?
Because you act like a pathetic drunk.
No wonder your wife killed herself.
Great, they showed it again.
Things to him.
Oh, great, they showed it again.
Freddie says one good turn deserves another and pushes a wall of wine boxes down on her attacker. However, she gets up pretty damn easily considering, and is able to track her back down in like 30 seconds. Which is great, because it gives Lillian even more time to exposit for the audience's benefit. She says she followed Freddie and Dale from the computer store to their sketchy meeting, and then all the way into the woods. She was the one who pushed Freddie down the hill, and she would have gotten rid of her then if Dale hadn't shown up to save her. Freddie throws a few wine bottles at her, but she has the aim of a stormtrooper, and it does little good. The chase continues outside while Alan speeds to save his self-endangering wife as fast as he can. Freddie climbs up a ladder onto some winery building, I still don't know any of the terminology, and after a few more cliches are exchanged, Lillian lunges with the knife, but Freddie slips off the side of the building and hangs on for dear life while Lillian pulls a Mufasa and tumbles down to her own demise. And she must have landed head first, because Alan finds Freddie and tells her to jump and he'll catch her, and she really is barely off the ground. Not exactly death-defying heights from what we can tell. She finally lets go and crashes into Alan, and they both now have a broken leg, and the police show up just in time to have missed everything. Thanks to Lillian confessing everything and the clues Alan found, Thomas is released, and to make the ending even happier, Freddie and Alan and Dale have made up, and Alan has hired Dale to be their new plant manager so he can move up in the world. Now they can all get drunk and spend their money flagrantly for the rest of their days. The end.
You rich girls buying your way out of any trouble you get into. Can't buy your way out of this, can you, Mrs. Leach?
I'll give you $100 to let me out of this.
So... to hop my way to freedom. This is why you never use the Jason Voorhees cleaning service.
That wasn't very original, Mrs. Leach.
The Mary Higgens Clark oeuvre explained.
That's right. It was me.
We know.
Ellen told me.
Hey, you almost hit the stunt double in the wig.
A deadly game of cat and Moscato.
Oh, now they're both hopping.
We're 2 potato sacks short of a company picnic.
Did I mention I've been using the toilet brush to clean the sink?
Shut up, shut up!
Oh, you don't know anything about love.
Not true. I know that love hurts. Love is the drug, and sometimes love involves
Maybe
muskrats.
I'll comfort him in the morning when they find your broken body. Instead of this, my letter of resignation, Frederica.
Come up and in 3, 2, 1.
I'm here to rescue you.
Freddie, I'm here. Let go.
No, seriously, you're only 4 feet off the ground. Let go.
Oh, God, why'd you let go?
I think I broke my leg.
Oh, I'm fine, by the way. Thanks for asking.
I've been saving this bottle for a very special occasion. I think my retirement qualifies.
What is this?
A bottle of wine? Boy, is she bad at her job.
We don't have a distributor.
Who's the 4th glass for?
Our new plant manager.
They hired a plant to be manager? No wonder this company is in trouble.
Don't worry. I'll develop a new program, and I'll have it straightened out in a week.
In 2 weeks, I'll be robbing this place blind.
And if there's one thing we all want Dumais wines to stand for, it's trust.
Well, that and not poisoning our customers. But trust, sure.
Well, that was really something.
It sure was.
And that was A Crime of Passion. It feels like what happens when a wine mom has watched one too many episodes of Murder, She Wrote and decides to make a movie of their own, but without ever learning how to write, direct, or pretty much anything else to do with filmmaking. And if you haven't seen any of the Mary Higgens Clark riffs yet, this is a great one to start with. It gives you a good example of what these films are about and how Bridget and Mary Jo take them on. I love these riffs because it really feels like watching a goofy Hallmark movies and mysteries entry with your girlfriends, and I highly recommend them if you haven't already seen them. As always, thank y'all so much for watching, and special thanks to my amazing Patreon supporters, including Kevin Nata and Isabella Summit. I'm already working on my next episode of every RiffTrax short reviewed, and I'm looking into doing some more riffs of my own soon, so look forward to all of that. If you enjoy my work here on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, and consider supporting me on Patreon. And make sure to check out my Twitch and Discord, which are all in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.
It's time for RiffTrax.